Time to round up a big story from the week now. Students marched on college campuses around the country this past week, but these demonstrations had nothing to do with the racial tension at the University of Missouri. No, these protests, labeled the Million Student March, were about the cost of education. The students involved are calling for America's richest people to pick up the cost of tuition for everyone else. They also want college loans to be forgiven for people who can't pay them off. Well, we couldn't wait to get this one to our Roundup panel, and we want to hear from you on our Fox 26 Facebook page. You can also weigh in on Twitter. Use the hashtag Fox26forlife. Joining us live in the newsroom is our panel led by our senior legal analyst, Chris Tritico, our news analyst, Mustafa Tamiz, and public policy analyst, Jackie Bally. All right, guys, take it away.
You know, it's interesting that their argument is we want the richest people in the country to pay for this, and we want to be forgiven our loans if we can't pay them off, and it died right there. You know, they are playing off of the president who said, I think 2 years ago, that he wanted to offer free college tuition to students in the United States. It's not a novel idea. There are countries all over the world, Germany, Finland, Brazil, France, Norway, and Sweden, to name a few, give the students in their country free college tuition and a free college education. It advances them, it advances the country, it advances the goals of the country to give free college. The problem is, as Neil Cavito pointed out the other day, Jackie, how do you pay for that?
Well, we're not a socialist country, and a lot of those countries are. And yes, how do you pay for that? Yeah, novel idea. I have two young men who are going to college. If only that were the case.
That would be
a lot of us, all three of us would really appreciate it, but that's not going to happen. What I would say to these students is, how about trying to get good grades so you can get a scholarship? Or if you can't afford tuition, go to community college. Or, like a lot of us did, get an academic scholarship and work a couple of jobs while you're going to school. Going to school is a privilege and an honor, and it's not something that's just given away to students. You have to earn it.
Is it a privilege? Is it an honor to get to go to college, or is it a right?
Well, if we want our national economy to do better, we have to compete in the global marketplace. Therefore, we have to have an educated workforce. We spent $1.2 trillion in student debt right now in this country. And that's not even skimming the surface, because many parents have gone into their 401k and taken money from their retirement. Many people have taken loans against their existing homes just to put kids through higher education. And there's something wrong in our system when so much money is being spent on higher education. No one can understand why the tuition has increased so much and why state governments have cut back so much in the higher education costs.
But then the president has said he wants to offer free college tuition, but no one has said, how do we pay for this? I mean, the students say, let the top 1% pay for it. I think they're going to object to that.
Well, look, I think that what makes us different than any other industrialized nation is that we offer free education to everybody, and we allow people to move up the educational scale. That's what we do K through 12. And we figured that out years ago, and that made us the envy of the world. That's why everybody wants to come here. That's why, you know, we're the biggest economy. The next step is, how do we make higher education free for everyone? Because if we do that, we will redevelop our economy into, you know, the next generation of envious.
I venture to guess, Jackie, that every movement that's ever started, the civil rights movement, every movement you can think of, started with an idea that this is the right thing to do and no idea how to pay for it.
Well, isn't that what America's about? America's about full of ideas and how we execute those ideas. But yes, there's no budget in place for free college or free university, free education at that level. So a lot of us need to focus on our budgets, correct? When we're planning for our students to get to college or universities, we should start at a much younger stage. Asking the top 1%, people who've earned their income, to pay for everyone else in the country is not what our American capitalism society is based on. And so this student and the students who are in this march and protesting that they want to have the top 1% to pay for education, I think that's great. They're expressing their viewpoints. That's what we want them to do, but it's not going to happen.
Final thought.
It just underscores the income inequality in our country. You know, the vast majority of the assets are within the hands of the 1%. And so if we just try to keep accumulating money in the hands of few people rather than most of us doing better, this economy is not going to do well for anyone.
All right, we'll see where it goes. Sally, you know, these types of movements start with generally with very little idea how to pay for it, and we'll see where it goes. But the idea that the top 1%'s taxes are going to be raised, I think, is a non-starter for our Congress.